Welcome everyone to the basement. Pull up a seat in your favorite easy chair, grab a glass of wine, sit back and enjoy the wonderful stories of Stanaway. It is Storytime with Stanaway. Hello everyone, I'm Stan. We're trying a new segment. Mark was sitting around and he said, you know what would be great is for you to share all those crazy stories that you have out there in the memories of times past, and share those with people, because I'm always interested by them, and everybody who listens to them are interested, because a lot of crazy stuff has happened to you because you've lived a crazy life. Well, I don't think they're that crazy. I said, sure, what the heck, we'll give it a shot, see if people like it. I decided that I will play Adventures of Lolo, which I haven't played in about 20 years, over the top of it. So I was trying to think of what story to do for this first inaugural episode, and I had decided that I'm going to tell a story about the first time I had a gun pointed at my head. And I don't mean a paintball gun, I mean a real gun. So, without further ado, I'm going to start my story once I get the game rolling. And just so you know, the names, save mine, will be changed to protect the guilty. Because, yeah, some of the stuff, it's not bad, but kind of bad. So, this story begins in, I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. I was in my early 20s. I had a friend, we're going to call him Dan. And his birthday was rolling around. Which, okay, awesome. Dan's birthday's coming. So, we all, we're going to get together. Go to the hangout at the time, which was a local bar called the Sports Palace. They had pool, there was a club upstairs. Really the kind of place where it was just like, alright, we could go and drink some beer, have a good time. So, everybody's going to meet there. So, myself and Dan and Wes met at Dan's house for, I'm being joined by Ross, so.
Ew.
We decided to meet at Dan Smith's house, and we're going to go out and have our evening of debauchery at the Sports Palace. So, we meet there and have a couple of drinks there, and we decide to make our way down to the bar, and as we exit, we're walking down the street, and some kids drive by in this minivan, and they shoot us with some airsoft guns.
Oh, is this where we get arrested?
Yeah, well, to which point, we didn't really think anything of it. We're like, screw it, we're going to the bar, whatever. We're in small-town America, mind you, so kids shooting us with airsoft guns at the time, not that strange of an occurrence. We didn't really think anything of it, and we continued to walk. Well, before we get to the end of the block, the van pulls back around and pulls in. And it's some of our coworkers. They're just out screwing around. So, okay, whatever. It's all happy, fine, and dandy, and we chat with them for a little bit, a minute or two, and decide to go on our merry way. Well, by the time we make it to the corner, a local squad car pulls in, and I suggest we stop. So the three of us stop and turn to the squad car, at which point I hear stomping feet on concrete. Now, it's October. October in northern Minnesota is far from pleasant weather. So it was brisk out. We stop. I hear stomping feet from around the corner, and an officer comes around the corner with his gun up. And he says to me, "Get on the ground now." To which I immediately listen, because, well, that's just what I'm going to do. So I get on the ground, and
I've never had a gun shoved in your face either. So.
Well, yeah, it's pretty extreme. At this point, the gun is just in my face, not actually, on my head or anything. It's just there. So, we get on the ground, and this cop proceeds to walk up and press the cold hard steel of his sidearm to my forehead while I'm laying on the concrete. Now, I wasn't necessarily pissing my pants yet. But I wasn't I was a little bit nervous. So we're laying on the ground there. We're waiting patiently for him to do whatever he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the cop that was in the squad car that stopped us is snickering because he sees this zealous, it's an older guy, you know, and he sees the zealous rookie doing his thing. He chuckles at us. Whatever. And by this point, squad cars are rolling in like mad. And I mean like mad. More squad cars than I have seen in my entire life are showing up. So, we're laying on the concrete, fine and dandy. Spending our time laying there, and a third cop walks over and starts to frisk us. So I have 3 packs of cigarettes in my pocket. So while he's frisking me, he reaches around the cigarettes and gives me a little cheap grab. Not intentionally, but just a, hey, how you doing? To which I snicker a little bit. He asks me my age, you know, whatever I was, 20-something. Okay. Moves on to Wes, gives Wes the frisk. Wes has an illegal carabiner in his pocket. Cop doesn't even question that. Takes it out, doesn't even question it. Wes gives him his age. And then he decides to move on to Dan. And Dan is 30 at this point. It is Dan's 30th birthday. So they give Dan the frisk down and they ask him how old he is. And Dan says, I'm 30. To which the cop snickers. He goes, 30? So we're laying on the concrete. And at this point, we've been on the concrete for, you know, a couple of minutes. Whatever. And the phone in my buddy's pocket, because I didn't have a cell phone. Cell phones were still kind of a new thing. Rings. Because, as is a small town, information has already traveled to our workplace that we are laying, all 3 of us work together, that we are laying on the concrete with guns to our head. So, that's alright. So the phone rings, you know, we obviously just ignored it, for fear of retribution from this crazy police officer. And I happen to peek over my shoulder at the other guys, because they've stopped these other 3 that were shooting the airsoft guns. And they're up laughing and joking with the cops. We were just walking on Main Street. These are the guys with the guns on Main Street. We're forced to sit on the concrete for another about 40 minutes. And eventually, finally after a long chunk of time, we're released. We are given the okay to go on our merry way. So we obviously we're going to the bar still because it's drinking time. So, oh, I messed that up. So we go to the bar, and the story doesn't get better from here, but it's just an epilogue that has some substance to it. So we go to the bar, and we turn one on. Well, not that that's different than a normal night when we would go to the bar, but we have several drinks, and oh, I messed that up again too. We toss a few back, and eventually we get to the point where, you know, it's starting to get kind of crazy. We're talking about going upstairs, and we hear there's a fight upstairs. And who walks through the door but the cop that said, hey, I don't want to see you guys again tonight. And he looks right at us. And we're both, all me, Dan, and Wes, all hands in the air. Like, we didn't do anything. So, yeah, small town America can be interesting.
That reminds me of the time I went and played basketball with the twins. And someone else was there with us, too. And we were playing basketball in the middle of the night at a local park. And I don't know, I'm 5'10", not in any shape to be playing basketball. I am 33 now. I think at this time I was 31, so it wasn't that long ago. The twins are tall, blonde. They're each 6'2". They played basketball professionally, and they're women, the girls. And I think I was playing with another girl too. I can't remember who it was. And they're 18. They were 18 and 19 at the time. And whatever, I just was like, I'll play some basketball. Why not? Two hot, tall twins tell you to go play some basketball. What are you gonna say? Like, no, of course not. I don't care. I'm 5'10", chubby, used to have asthma. I'll throw up some bricks. So, anyways, we're playing middle of the night, and one of them, every time she misses a shot, she screams, like bloody fucking murder, screams, because she's pissed. Well, this goes on. We're playing for about, I don't know, two hours. Afterwards, when she continues to do this for, this duration of time, well, sure enough, the cops come. And they wheel in, and they come walking up. Then, we're just playing basketball. It's not like they're shooting up shit. And this guy comes up. He's not even got a flashlight out. And he comes up. He's like, hey, so we got some noise complaints going around here, and it sounds like, what's going on here? I hear a girl screaming. And I was like, the male said, yeah, we're just playing some basketball. Yeah, we're just playing some basketball. That's it. And at this point, he takes out his flashlight, I think because it's a little dark. Well, it's midnight, about 2 in the morning. And sort of, shines at each one of their face. He does it real briefly. He's like, all right, so how old are you? And it goes around the thing like, 18, 19, gets to me. And I go, 33? And it kind of shines off and it just draws it right back. And it's on me for a long time. And I can feel this cop giving me the once over, like, wait a minute. At this point in my head, I'm thinking of, like, the Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. Which one of these things is not the same? And he's just looking at me and he's like, I swear he shook his head like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing, fat boy? It's really what I thought. And I shut it off. And he's like, all right, you guys gotta go. It's 2 in the morning. Can't have any scream. Needless to say, the one twin that always got the nickname after that, Screamer, which I also hear is apt in other areas too. Small town America.
Nothing finer. Let's call this an episode, and when we come back, we will have more banter. I didn't expect Ross to show up, so on the next episode of Stan's Storytime, Ross and I will have another interesting discussion about something.